Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It's Tuesday night, so you already know it's time to get back into some Cobra Kai. What's up, Andy? You ready to talk some karate today?
I'm ready to talk family issues that this episode brought up. That I watched it after our stream, but then I have to watch it again with my wife. So I was very distracted the first time through because I was thinking, what is my wife gonna? I can't wait to hear her speak in the middle of this show because I was trying to predict what she would say about these situations.
Did you predict it right?
Oh yeah.
Spot on.
Oh yeah, I knew immediately. I was like, she's gonna say no way. We'll get to it later, but I knew she was gonna be pissed.
What do you think she was going to be pissed about?
Dude, the whole thing with the girl.
Okay, we'll get into it when we get there. Yeah, there's a couple times where I was like, where is this going to go? Like, oh, that was a slippery slope they're riding. So, yeah, that was pretty good. But this one starts out with Kompai. Everybody's cheering except for Danielson. The Diona board told him, thanks, but no thanks. We have an image to uphold. Looks like Chosen isn't the head of Diona like we thought. Or is he?
Dang it. No, I don't think so, but maybe.
I think he's definitely going to have something to do with that board. Either his brother's the one in charge or a family member, but I don't know. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that, but I think you're still onto something. I think he's definitely still a part of it, the Diona company, one way or another.
See, I was thinking and I don't think so in the end, but I changed my mind. maybe he is, but okay, so maybe he is, and Daniel can kind of win him over, right? That's like the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I think the way they ended it, like I think that's a fallacy. I don't think that's gonna be the way that's gonna go at all. But yeah, we'll get there and talk about it. But Daniel's at the bar and gets some advice from the bartender that, along with a well-timed commercial, gives him the idea that it's time to revisit a blast from the past. We're heading to Okinawa, and we kind of called that one, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta know.
One.
They're revisiting so much stuff from all the old stuff. He's got to make it back home, didn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that was that was pretty much the easy guess. We shouldn't even count that one, but we're going to because
absolutely mark it down. But back over to Cobra Kai, and not much has changed. Kreese is still serving up useful but damaging lessons. The way Kreese was talking, I kept waiting for him to sneak one of them students with a quick sucker punch. Did you kind of think he was going to do that?
Yeah.
You always got to be alert. You always got to be ready. I was like, he's about to sucker punch one of these kids.
I thought so too.
That was just nuts. But Miguel's still laid up in the hospital and watching the latest CK posting, and it's just time. It's kind of making him feel worse, and he may never walk again. But I like how they showed no matter how bad things get, you're never saying no to a piece of chocolate cake. Like a little piece of chocolate cake is always going to make life better. I don't care how bad you are, even without legs, chocolate cake will make everything just a little bit better. But Johnny's on the phone getting bitched out by Bobby, and I'm glad they touched on that because there is no way Pastor Bobby was going to let him forget about that anytime soon. I still say that he should have went to go see Robbie first.
Oh, yeah, I'm with it, but, what does he do? He already told Miguel that he'd always be there for him. I think there's a lot of guilt in, like, how the kids made him feel about Miguel and stuff, so I don't know. When you're dwelling on it for so long, like, that's the thing that's been bothering you for, weeks, maybe you can justify staying there for a bit. Plus Carmen.
Carmen is the key. Yeah, knowing that Carmen's there and trying to make her happy is, I think, what it all boils down to. Because, yeah, Johnny's got those eyes for Carmen. What's up, Sam the Morningstar? I bet it was tough not to hit that watch button. It's always tough to not hit the watch button on the next one. They always leave you wanting more. So, yeah, that was definitely tough. But I'm staying strong, and I have not seen not one instant of episode 5 yet. I'm still 100% on 4.
I cheat. Like, I watch a little bit of the next.
A little bit lazy on getting to that pause button.
I'm like, where's the remote? I can't find it. I guess I'm going to have to look for it as the show's playing.
Just got to know what's going to happen, what's going to be. But Daniel's made the journey to Okinawa only to see things have drastically changed. He relives a few old memories on the way to Tomi Village, but when he arrives, he's blown away by how much it's changed. Wasn't he a little naive thinking that 30 years later that everything was still going to be the same?
Yeah, and isn't he not that much different than Johnny? You wouldn't keep up with that. Like that, I feel like you would kind of want to know about that a little bit at least.
Yeah, with social media, and I mean, they said, yeah, back in the day they didn't have it, but they have it now. So how have you not checked in or seen anything in the last 30 years?
Yeah, you would know a little bit at least.
You would think, I mean, it's not like he has family ties back there, but he had friends, and I mean, he almost lost, I mean, he fought to the death back there. I mean, it's kind of a big part of his life, so.
Yeah, I would be looking up to see if there's a shrine of me, like anytime. I'd be like, so when is this shrine going up where I saved this girl? Like, what the hell?
Exactly. Like, where's the ode to me?
Yeah.
I thought it was actually going to be a total ghetto when he got back there. Like, the way the cabbie was asking, like, how long's it been since you've seen it? I was like, oh, he's going to get there, and it's going to be just a total dump. But nope, it's come full circle. It was a bankrupt and dying city, but now American commercialism has completely taken over. And I love how they played that, like corporate America moved in and saved the day.
Hell yeah. Capitalism, baby.
I was like, are you kidding me? That's how they played that? That's kind of funny.
Well, I think it speaks to like Japanese culture. That's like Japanese are really good about like taking in the best things from other cultures. Like, I don't know, like even traditional Japanese stuff, they wear like suits and ties because you fit in better with the world. They're very good at that, like finding the best way to deal with the situation. And I can only say that because they got a Jersey Mike's there. And Jersey Mike's primo sandwiches.
Oh, they dumped the Subway, and now they have a Jersey's Mike's. That was
They had me right there. I'm like, dang, I'm going to Okinawa, and they know what kind of sandwiches to make.
Send me to Tomi Village. They got it going on. But Johnny makes a bold effort to go see Robbie, and as usual, Robbie's not having it. He just doesn't feel he can trust Johnny to truly be on his side, especially when he hears the reason why he didn't make it. You think Robbie has a right to feel that way?
Yeah, Robbie has a right to feel lots of ways.
He's feeling down and out. It's like, thanks, Dad. You know, I'm sitting here getting my ass kicked in jail, just rotting away in a cell, and you're there praying for a guy who doesn't even know you're there in a hospital. Like, thanks for being my dad, Dad. Like, that's a rough one.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, like Johnny has a point too. Like, if you looked at it from both perspectives, you could be like, yeah, but he was my student, and you were also the one that put him in the hospital. I had him show you mercy, and you kicked him over a railing. So chill, kid. It's your fault.
Which is kind of the way Johnny took it, and that didn't. We saw how that worked out for him.
Yeah, but still, I would be like, I have a daughter. Sometimes you gotta be like, well, your own dumbass fault.
You're gonna yell at me? He's like, I'm not the one who put him in the hospital. Like, yeah, that's not what Robbie needed to hear right then and there. That was rough.
Hey, sometimes what you need to hear. That's not what he wanted to hear. Sometimes it's what you need to hear.
Time to just own up and take some responsibility for what you've done, son.
Yeah, but we were complaining about Daniel not doing that last time, right? That he didn't talk to Robbie like that. Like, hey, you gotta own up to your like the things you've done. You know, Johnny doesn't do it in the right way, but he still does it. He's still himself in that process. Like, I like that. He's still him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, he's blunt about it. Like, I'm not going to treat my kid any different than I would treat any of these other little assholes. Like, you put him there. Chill.
It's like, own up and take some responsibility. But, you know, that didn't work out. But, you know, I'm sure it's going to come back around. We'll have to wait and see. But from one lunchroom to another, Dimitri seems to be having no problems at all adjusting to his newfound popularity. Quickly schooling the has-been popular girl on him being on the rise while she's on the steady decline. Do you think Dimitri is ever going to have a shot with Yasmin?
Oh, 100%. I think that's what they're going. They're going for that.
You think they're going to end up hooking up?
Oh, yeah. And I like it. This is a little callback. You caught this in the first episode, and I did not even think that. Like, I didn't for a second think he was getting full of himself. Like, he was realizing that he was popular. I was like, no, I think he's just dorky. So you saw that, like,
A nerd on the rise. He's been picked on his whole life, and now he's flipping the script and doing it even better than your boy Hawk. Somewhat.
whoa. That's not. I mean, Yasmin, that's her name, right? Moon. He ain't doing it better than Hawk. Hawk went too far.
Yasmin Moon, if you're a little kid, that's a tough one. Yeah, I guess yeah, that's a tough one, I guess. How great was that? Like right when Dimitri was saying his diagram was like an exact replica of right before the Astro hit, and then boom, Hawks launches that soccer ball to blow it up like the asteroid. Like that was pretty perfection timing. That poor kid.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, that was great. And then you had to love, like, right as Dimitri's standing there, like, steaming, saying, like, this took me 3 weeks to build. Yasmin just asked, like, a total ditz, like, do you have another one?
Yeah, that's hilarious. I didn't even catch that the first time I watched it.
Oh, that was great.
I didn't even hear it.
I was like, you idiot. Like, you are just a perfect ditz. That was great. But Hawk was pretty quick to learn and master Kreese's latest lesson: think quick and be agile with your decision making. And at first I was like, how is this guidance counselor buying all of Hawk's BS? But then when you break it down, you have to think that they've probably spent a lot of time together back before he was Hawk and got picked on all the time. So probably already feeling sorry for him. So she's already going to kind of be on Hawk's side, which it seems like she is.
Yeah, it's weird. I get it. That makes sense. But it kind of made me like hate Hawk even more. Like that little weaseliness, like the little brother shit where a little brother will throw something at you and then you like come back at him and he's like, I can't breathe, Mom. Dude, that's what it had me like. I was like, God, I'm hating him right now. They're doing a great job of making me hate him because I have a little brother and I've been in that situation.
Oh, yeah. Off the deep end. Yeah, he's ridiculous. But he is, like I said, he's a quick learner. He's adjusting to Kreese's latest lesson real good. Yeah, same in Morningstar. I got 5 just like it, 10K pieces. Yeah, that girl was a freaking idiot thinking that there would be extras made. It's like, of course there's not extra made. Oh, but like I said, just the little lines like that are my favorite of this whole show. Like she almost like said it under her breath. Like, do you have another one? I was like, one of the best lines of the show. It's great. But back at Tomi Village, and Daniel's bummed out about the village's progress. It's no longer the village that time forgot. And like, again, it's like, how naive can you be thinking that 35 years later it's going to be the exact same? Like, that's just crazy. But speaking of not forgetting, Daniel runs into an old friend, Danielson. I was like, did you know who that was right when they showed her?
Yeah, once they didn't show what's his name on the board, I was like, we're gonna have to see the one girl. Like that was my next thought when he was going there. I was like, all right, they're gonna do it. They're gonna show her.
I mean, they have to. You're going back to Okinawa. You got to have some kind of re-up of something that happened in the past. So yeah, they had to show somebody. So yeah, at first I was like, and then I started dancing. I was like, oh my god. And yeah, it was cool when they showed all the flashbacks to bring us back to exactly what it was. That was pretty tight. But back to Johnny trying to make Robbie saying he doesn't need him, and Johnny says like he'll always be there anyway, and they get into a heated exchange. And like I said, we called this way back when Johnny first told Miguel that he'd always be there for him. We knew that eventually this was going to blow up in his face with Robbie, and it looks like it's coming full tilt to that.
Yeah, I mean, it had to. Like as their rivals, 100% you can't be there for both of them. Exactly. Like, how could you be?
And exactly. And that's why, it's like one's your son, one's like your basically adopted son that you're teaching. That's going to blow up in your face, especially when you swear to one, you'll always be there no matter what. It's like, dude. Yeah. I mean, that's just, you can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen. But time for a little friendly game of soccer. And for our peeps outside the U.S., it's a football game. This was ridiculous and fantastic all at the same time. Like, what do you think of how that played out? Were you digging the soccer game?
I thought it was funny, but I was like, what kind of teacher puts them on different teams? Like, yeah, we got these rival fighting, gangs essentially. Let's put them on opposite teams in PE class. That's all I could think the whole time. That doesn't even make any sense.
Like, that's going to turn out well. That's funny. I didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you just split them up and make them all be on the same? Yeah, instead of being on the same team.
I get it's the 80s things, but sometimes I think too much about it. I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. You are terrible teachers. Like DJ said, where are all the teachers?
Exactly. You know what just happened. You're not new. You saw what just went down here. It's like the biggest thing that the community's been talking about in 20 years. And you're going to just let them go out and battle in a freaking sport against each other as foes? Are you nuts? Yeah, that was funny. But finally, the PE teacher had enough. Like, everyone to the principal's office now. She had seen enough. So then we head back to Okinawa and Daniel catching up with an old friend. And I love how they touched on how close-minded and stereotypical they showed him, like, as an American. Like, when she said London was her favorite spot, and he's all, let me guess, because of the tea. She's like, no, because I got to go there and see the Cranberries open for Radiohead. And he was like so blown away by that. Like, I love how they touched on that. Like,
yeah, it's hilarious.
The American stereotypical, like you'd think, oh, this little, no. She's not about the tea. She's about rocking out to the Cranberries. I thought that was dope. That was like I said, just the little things in here that are kind of behind the scenes are the best part of the show. But you already had to have thoughts on how far, like, was the rekindling of this old flame going to go. But when they started talking about marriage and she said, many have tried, but none fought to the death for me, I was like, uh-oh, is Danielson going to slip?
Yo, this is where I started going, what? Like, all I could think is, like, man, you have this perfect lady back here. You better stop reminiscing. Like, I thought about it too. And then this thing goes way further than that, right? Like, the whole situation. And I'm like, my wife would lose her damn mind if I went and spent an evening with my ex-girlfriend that I fought to the death for, that I didn't fight. I could have an ex-girlfriend that, like, was third grade girlfriend that, we dated for 3 days. And if I went and spent an evening with her, my wife would freaking lose it.
Much less go halfway around the world to spend the night in a dojo with, like, some romantic setting.
And if I did that, and the first thing I said to my wife wasn't, hey, I went to this girl's house and we talked about, like, Mr. Miyagi and stuff, and I didn't give her at least 15 reasons as to why she's better than this girl, you might be getting divorced the next day. I don't know. Something crazy's happening. That's all I could think during this whole thing. And then my wife, when we watched it together, she's like, no fucking way. That's what she said.
Exactly. Dude, that's what she was saying while she was watching it?
Yeah, that's what she said while she watched. She said, no fucking way, I would kill you.
That is awesome, dude. I love it. That's what I was thinking this whole time. I was like, this is a slippery slope our man's on. Like, God dang, you got Mandy back at home just waiting, like the whole dream house scenario, and what are you doing, dude? Like, this is crazy. Kimoko does seem to still have the googly eyes for Daniel. She did, absolutely. Like, when she asked, like, why are you here? He's like, oh, my business. She's like, no, why are you really here? I was like, oh, snap. She's asking. She's looking for answers. I was like, where is this going to go?
Yeah, and then this goes on all the way up to the end of the episode. There's something that happens in, like, the last couple seconds of the episode. I'm like, what the fuck? The whole time, I'm like, no way.
Like, this is not realistic. This is not how shit goes down in real life.
I mean, it's probably realistic, but all I can think is, like, my head on the chopping block. I mean, it ain't worth it. Whatever information you're getting from her, you save your business, whatever. Dude, my wife guaranteed would rather that I lose my business that I poured my whole life into than me spend an evening with an ex-girlfriend that I fought to the death for.
Exactly, dude. Like, what? That is just not happening in the real world. I'm sorry.
100% that she feels that way. She's like, oh, well, we're losing our business. We'll deal with being poor. You're not spending the evening with your ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I love that. And that is the truth of it all. Yeah, when Kimoko asked Daniel, why is he back? Like, was she hoping that he was back for her, or was she just asking? Of course she wanted him to be back for her. Like, that was just wild. And it's funny how Daniel realizes he's the same age now that Mr. Miyagi was when they first met, yet he still hasn't figured anything out. Like he's just as lost in life as ever.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's a brilliant thing, like, that comes along as your parent and stuff. Like I can remember my parents being the age I am now. Like I have legit memories of that, right? So, and I'm always thought your parents knew everything. You always thought they knew everything.
oh yeah.
But and now you're that age and you're like, oh, they didn't know shit. They were just making it up.
Faking it until they make it. Yep, make it up as you go. Do the best you can. Absolutely. Oh, that was classic. But Johnny's back at a bar, drowning in his sorrows, when who walks in but Kreese himself, and he orders a whiskey and water. Side note to all my fellow whiskey lovers out there who can appreciate the subconscious nod to the different economic levels. We got our man Daniel and company toasting it up with a $350 bottle of Macallan 18, while Kreese comes in and orders the $2 well of a blended scotch and water. I just thought that was a funny little nod to like where everybody was in life. But
I've seen one of your videos before, and you put water in whiskey sometimes, right? Like drop a cup of water.
yep,
Drops in it.
yeah, you taste it neat. You taste it with a little bit of water in it, and then you taste it over ice. So that's like the three main ways people drink it. So I try to do the taste test all three ways.
Oh,
interesting. But yeah, the fact that Daniel and them are drinking $350 bottles of Macallan and our man's ordering a Cuddy Sark and water, like a little $2 well, is just, I don't know. For all my whiskey drinkers, that's going to hit home because that says a lot. It's funny. But Kreese had a lot of nerve talking about like how he did all this for the benefit of Johnny. Like, was it luck or planned timing for him to come in right when that officer was there? Because Johnny would have kicked the crap out of him if it wasn't for that cop getting lunch.
I don't know. I think Kreese, he likes the chaos of the situation. Like he's just lucky a lot of the times, but he's also gotten his butt kicked. Like he fought Johnny, but he's just confident that he can deal with any situation. But then you also think you have to consider that the guy knew the cop. So maybe he's been like scouting that area. Like he knew that guy frequented there. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. I think he might have just timed it just right. I don't know. That's pretty crazy because, yeah, that was pretty ballsy to just walk in when you know Johnny wants your head on a platter right now. But Kreese is such a sociopath that he really believes his own BS. Like, again, how are all these parents just letting their kids be brainwashed by this total whack job? I mean, they're just like, oh, go have fun. I mean, they're not noticing the difference or how these kids are acting or just the crazy shit they're doing. It's like, dude. That'd be my first thing. It's like, who are you hanging out with? And we're going to cut that out because you're not normal anymore.
My biggest, there's a weird thing that we didn't talk about that I forgot from like an episode or two ago. Why is like Hawk's mom letting him ride a motorcycle? Like she babied him enough that she called the school and told the people to stop making them, and he's riding a crotch rocket. Like, yeah, apparently these parents don't care.
Well, deep down, I think she was just wanted anything for her son not to be just such a whiny little loser. It's like, I mean, you have to kind of, when you're a parent, you're like, my son's a geek. He's getting picked on at school. Like, this is probably like, oh, my God, he's got a mohawk. He's driving a motorcycle. Finally, he's not the little twerp getting beat on anymore. He's actually going to, be something or do something. So she's probably happy he's riding bikes at this time because she's sick of having to call guidance counselors because her baby's getting picked on all the time. So
maybe.
I don't know. That's the way I kind of looked at it. I was like, dude, she's probably so sick of him just always crying at the table, being such a little bitch that she's just happy that he's up and doing something different. Like finally trying to become a man, or at least, it's some form of one.
I don't know. Like my mom really does not like me, but I had a motorcycle in high school and she did everything to get me to get rid of that motorcycle. Like she did not want me having it because she thought I was going to die on it.
Yeah. See, she did love you. She knows. Dude, my mom loves me more than life itself, and she would never let me have a motorcycle. As much as I begged, pleaded, and cried for one, it was not happening. Not even a dirt bike when I was younger. Like the only dirt bikes I got to ride is when I went out with friends. So, yeah, that's mamas are never good on motorcycles. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That was my whole point.
Yeah, mamas don't want their babies riding cycles. But like I said, when your baby's just crying like a baby all the time at the dinner table and sobbing and just feeling worthless, now he's finally got a little, self-respect, a little self-confidence. Maybe you don't want to impede on that because things are finally going right for him. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, what did the Water Boys coach say about mamas?
What mama don't know won't hurt her.
Exactly. But it seems absolutely nothing has worked out well for Kreese in his life at any point. He's like 60-something. Like, how does he not ever learn that his way sucks and he needs to try something new? If he's really a sensei and a teacher, it's like, learn from your mistakes. You are a complete failure at life. Everything about you is loser. It's like, how do you not just switch and try to change something up at some point?
I don't know. Like, you're old. It depends on how you think of loser, I guess, right? Like, he feels like he's in all these situations and he keeps coming out on top, even though the situations are bad. Like, if you can survive bad situations, you think that you are doing, like, oh, I wouldn't have survived that situation if I didn't have this mentality. You don't go deep into it like, oh, I wouldn't have been in that situation if I didn't have that mentality. Like, that's what you do. You ignore half of it.
If you're a sensei, you need to have that inner reflection. I mean, this to come out on top, this took 30 years to come out on top and get Cobra Kai back. That's a long depth of sucking and living it, basically on the street and halfway houses. And I mean, at some point you got to interflect. I mean, Johnny knew enough to say he had to flip the script and teach it to Hawk. So how does his sensei not know it? That just seems crazy.
I don't know.
But the little meeting ends exactly how we figured it would, and Johnny sends Kreese packing. But later we find out that Johnny's real good at finding the true lesson, even when it comes from Kreese. Once a teacher, always a teacher. I like how they brought that back. That was pretty cool in the end. We'll talk about that. But back to school, and how did Hawk get to go in first and alone to influence the guidance counselor? Like, then she comes out without even hearing the Miyagi-Do's side. Like, I think Hawk might be boning this guidance counselor. I'm telling you, dude. How does he always get the best side of it? She's always on his side and won't even listen to the other side. I think the guidance counselor, if nothing else, at least has a little googly feelings for the Hawkster.
Well, maybe because you're right about him always being picked on before, but he also just had his best friend get, like, paralyzed. So maybe that factors into it. They're the ones that
he leaned into that when he's talking about it. Like, these guys, beat us up and pick on us, and I'm sure he's leaning into that. Like, he seems to be good at the manipulation factors. But yeah, I was like, this guidance counselor, I think, just wants some Hawkster because she is just leaning way too far on his side at every option. That's just too much. But out to Aunt Yuka's house, and Kimiko shows Daniel some of Mr. Miyagi's old love letters, and magically the first letter Daniel grabs is the last letter Mr. Miyagi ever wrote the week of his death. And it was funny how this last love letter that he ever wrote was all about Danielson and not his feelings for the woman he wishes was there with him. I thought that was a little weird.
Yep, a little convenient.
It was a lot convenient. I was like, this is his last love letter. He knows he's dying. This is to the woman that he wishes that, he's finished his life with and loved all these years, and all he talks about is Danielson. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Come on. That ain't realistic. It was Miyagi-Do that had the plan for the soccer game. It was. They did come out there swinging first. Probably his aunt not telling us. You think the guidance counselor is Hawk's aunt? I don't think so. I think she's smitten with the Hawkster and what it is. I think that's what it is. She got a little thing for the Hawk. Well, I like how they dropped that sweet Mr. Miyagi line that sounds all profound, and even he had to ask, do you like that? Only to reveal that he got it from a car commercial, kind of letting us know that he's not some profound genius, but rather just a regular man making his way through life. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I think he is like that. He just takes the things that make sense to him, like kind of like we do with anything, like Game of Thrones, even this show, where you take something and you apply it to yourself in a more meaningful way that, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then over to Miguel reaching out for an autographed phone when in walks Johnny. You want that phone? Yeah, but quiet. Cue the comeback music. There is no never or can't. Yes, sensei. And we got our boy back out of feeling sorry for himself. It's on. I was pretty stoked about that. You like that?
Yeah, I told you. I don't know if that counts about like him trying to get him to walk when he takes the phone. He put him with the phone. Oh my god! I was like, yes, we are gonna get some awesome attempts at Johnny teaching him to walk.
And you
Hopefully,
knew he was going to fall his face, but that was fantastic. He's just like, yeah, I want the phone back. Quiet! I was like, oh, Johnny's back. He ain't taking no more bullshit. Let's get back on track. I love that scene. I thought it was dope. Either way he screamed, that was so great. Yeah. I'm actually a little shocked we're 4 episodes in and Miguel's still bedbound.
Yeah, me too, a little bit.
I didn't think they'd take this long, but it looks like we're getting ready to come back on the comeback scene in the next one, so that is dope.
I think, what did I guess? There was 10 episodes. If he ain't walking by next episode, I think I'll lose that. Didn't we bet about that?
I think that was when Allie was coming back, the back half or the front half, when we see Allie. So you got one more episode for Allie to make an appearance, or I win. Absolutely. Sensei Johnny is back. Dude, I love, dude, when he screamed quiet at him, like in mid-sentence, I was just like, fuck yeah, dude. I was like, Johnny's back. Let's get it. It's like, I'm tired of all this bullshit, dude. This is starting to get a little slow. Let's bring it back. But Robbie's life isn't getting any easier, and now the thugs have taken everything from him, even his sheets. I'm like, they're really going out of their way to make us hate that 32-year-old juvenile. Like, they must have a really bad finish lined up for him because they're going real hard on him.
Oh, man. What if they're just showing you that, like, that's what's his name's going to become?
Robbie?
Robbie. Jeez Louise. Yeah.
Could be. I mean, one way or another, Robbie's going to handle this fool. He's going to go Miyagi-Do on that dude's face and put him down and be the new kingpin of it. But is that what he really wants, or do we just want Robbie to get back out and get his life back on track?
Yeah, but how does he's not going to go Miyagi-Do on anybody because that's a defensive martial art. He's not going to.
So you think maybe something else, somebody else might come in and teach him to go like, hey, way of the fist. You need to strike hard, strike first, no mercy.
Yep.
Could be. Get him back on track because, yeah, that's like the big thing. Is Robbie going to kick the crap out of that guy, or is he going to go the mercy route? That'll be an interesting thing to find out. But I think after his little meeting with his visitor, he may just go the way of the fist on his 32-year-old ass. I think once he goes back, once Kreese gets a hold of him, and now we see that Kreese is basically into his life, he's going to start learning the way of the fist and learn how to strike first, which he kind of did. I mean, he showed no mercy and put that fool right over the thing. So, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. But what if that's how they play it? Like Kreese gets in Robbie's head, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, and then Robbie ends up killing that boy and then ends up being sent to real prison for like hard time following Kreese's teachings. Like that would be a nightmare scenario.
That would be too dark for this show, don't you think?
Could be. I mean, you would think, but you never know when they're going to flip the script. And I mean, they got Robbie in a dark place now, so yeah, you want to see him come back and do better. But I don't know. What if they do? He ends up listening to Kreese, shows no mercy, hits and kicks that dude. Guy ends up falling, breaking his neck, dying, and now Robbie's getting sent up for hard time and murder.
I just think that's too much of the same thing. Like, you almost murder Miguel. If he doesn't rip his heart out, like, then, you can't do that again. You can't do it where you kick him, he falls and hits his head. And then, because then I'll be here complaining, like, oh, they just rehashed like a former plot line. Like that. You just took this other plot line and you did the same exact thing. And then you just took him from his current prison and put him in a different prison. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Or maybe they show it like maybe we get like a montage or like a forward thing, and he's getting ready to do it, and he's got the guy and they're battling, and it's like one more kick and he could basically just end this fool. And then all of a sudden we see like his path going off. He ends up murdering this guy. He gets sent to death row or whatever. And then he's like, okay, that's not the way he's going to go. And then he gives him a Daniel, like honk to the nose and like, nope, and shows him mercy, and then ends up getting out of jail and becoming a better person. I could see that kind of fork and then showing him go the right way. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, a honk on the nose, like I like that. I do not like them showing him going to a different prison or whatever. I don't like that idea. But
Well, at least showing him the path that if he does it, what will happen and why not to.
But he's already on that path. That's what I'm saying.
True,
like,
yeah. I mean, yeah,
that
for sure. But I don't know, just letting you know it could be another dark. Like, this is kiddie land. You're in juvenile. Like, there is definitely another level to this if you stay on this track that you're on right now.
Yeah, you'll be dealing with 42-year-olds. No.
Exactly. Oh, but back to Japan and the coolest breaking of ice for a cocktail I've ever seen. Like, having that ice set up like the karate blocks, I thought that was actually pretty dope. I like that. But Kimoko says, put good out into the world and it will come back to you. Then they both get a little spark when their hands touch, grabbing for the drinks. I think that's what you were talking about before. Is like, right then you're like, did something happen last night? Like, what is this little, I don't know. And they you're like, is this still going there? Or did it happen last night? Or what are we going to find out about this?
I don't know. But all I can think is Amanda's going to murder him. Like, that's it. You have to. This is what happens when men are away from their wives for more than a day. Like, they don't know how to act in real life. Like he didn't know that his response when she says, put good things out and good things will come back to you, he acted like he's never heard that phrase before in his whole life. You know why? Because he's not near his wife, so he doesn't have any kind of real brain. Like, I cannot with this whole part of the storyline. It was very, I don't like Daniel as it is, but I get that he's supposed to be a good person in this story, but doesn't this just ruin it for everybody? We can talk about like, he never grew up from Johnny and he always hated him. He never gave Johnny the chance that Johnny deserves and he's always looking down on him. Now that's not even the worst thing about him. Like, in my mind, I'm like, that you're a terrible person. You have an awesome wife. She's the only person that's living in the real world in this whole show. And you're out here with another lady, touching hands, getting weird. I don't like it.
It's not going anyplace good, I'll tell you that. It's like, dude, you have the perfect dreamland scenario. And he says, he's like, I have a perfect family. You know, I have a good life. You know, I should be happy. And I'm not. Why are you telling your ex-girlfriend this? You're saying what she wants to hear, and you know it.
Yeah, well, I can't. Nope, you're saying I made a mistake. Dude, you're probably not saying that. I'm not saying that he's trying to hook up with her. You're not saying that, but she's definitely taking it that way. Like 100%. You're like, oh, I'm not happy with my life, and then in her head, she hears, it was a mistake not staying with you, and I ended up in this situation. Like, I can't. This episode drove me nuts. Because this whole storyline, I could not. I'm like, oh my god, my wife will kill me.
All she's gonna hear is you're not happy with your home life at home, and you just flew halfway around the world to come find me. That's fate.
Yes.
That's destiny. We're it's on now. So yeah, that's kind of messed up.
So, and the fact that he doesn't even consider his wife's feelings in this, like, you might have a great relationship with your wife or whatever, and you guys understand each other and all that, but still, like, if you don't even consider her feelings, like, okay, let's pretend that she was completely cool and she was like, oh yeah, go. You know, yeah, I understand you hung out with your girlfriend. If you explain to your wife that you said, no, hold on. We're already established she's cool with it. But now you tell your wife, oh yeah, I told her about how miserable I am with my life and like how things aren't working out.
Never get started.
Your wife is losing her mind and you were losing your head or testicles. One or the other.
Don't go to sleep that night. Don't go to sleep.
I'm just saying, like, that this whole episode, it dropped way down the book for me because of that. I could not get over that the whole time. I could not wait to come talk to you about it after I watched it last week on Wednesday. I was like, oh my god, I gotta wait 6 days to go on this giant rant about Daniel and this other woman. Like,
not just another woman.
Yeah, the woman you know,
the death door.
Exactly. Like, I can't even. This whole time I was like, I cannot wait to talk about them. I'm gonna ruin this episode of our stream by going on a 2-hour rant about this whole situation and about how ridiculous it is.
Absolute fantasy land. Yeah, there's no reality, and no wife is digging with that. Like, oh, you're going back to the old place? Oh, with your old friends and stuff? Maybe not. So, yeah,
I can't wait. If they don't bring that up later in the season, I'm gonna lose it. Like, if she is not pissed off about that, I'm gonna lose it.
I mean, she's got a pretty clear head, but yeah, I don't know. Like, she's talking about waking up in beds all summer by herself, and now all of a sudden her husband's going halfway around the world to hang out all night with the woman he fought to the death for. There's definitely going to be some issues. Absolutely.
It has to get brought up. Hopefully, well, it has to get brought up before the end of the season. Like, yeah, I don't know.
No, probably in the next episode. It's probably going to be in the next episode. And before they can even react to the obvious sparks that they have, here comes another voice from the past, Danielson! And who else but the man himself, Chosen, finally shows up. Which, what a great name. I mean, Chosen, that is awesome.
Yeah, the Chosen one.
But what's going to be Chosen's story? Like, I think we're going to find out that him and Kimoko are still a thing. And I also think that he may be involved still some way with the Dayona company. I still think you're onto it, but maybe instead of him being the head of it, maybe like a cousin came in and took it from him, or some family members running it, but they're running it wrong and they're all like evil empire stuff and he wants to get them out. Like, I actually think Danielson and Chosen are going to be buddies. I don't think they're going to be battling.
Well, I think that Chosen's – here's why. Earlier in the episode, she talked about how, what's his name, saved the town, right? Chosen's uncle saved the town by, like, building the strip mall. Or, like, basically making it a tourist attraction. And then he comes in with, like, a Hawaiian shirt and stuff. And so I was like, maybe he's not a part of the Dayona company because – he doesn't look like he's a board member. That's why I thought I got it wrong. But you might be right. I might be jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, I think him and Daniel are going to be partners. I think maybe like that family member pushed him out, like he was in charge and they pushed him out, or there's going to be some kind of rival or battle. Chosen's going to have something to do with that Dayona company, and he's going to help Danielson get back on track with him. That's what I think.
See, that could be it. But wouldn't he still be mad about like Danielson beating him?
This is 30 years later. I mean, sometimes people get over it, especially in that culture, being able to see the bigger picture. I think maybe it's like, that sucked, and we were kids, and testosterone and kind of overruled, but now we're grown-ass men, so let me see if I can't help you like with this problem. I could see it kind of going that way. And I could kind of see like him and Kimoko kind of being a thing. Because that was the whole thing that started it. So who knows? Like maybe they're actually kind of a thing now. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to go with that. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch the next one. I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode, but I didn't hate it. It was just felt kind of like a filler episode to me, kind of in there.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like an anime filler, but it drove me nuts. The whole, I'm telling you, until I had kind of like worked myself out of it like a couple days after watching the episode. But then once we started talking, once you brought it up again, or once it hit my head in the beginning of this stream, I was like, that's all that's going to be in my mind. This whole stream is like how ridiculous this is.
Yeah. Oh, dude. The whole scenario.
And we got Allie still coming back this season. What is going to happen?
That's what I thought. I was like, dude, love triangle my ass. We're getting into like hexagons and stuff. Like, there's on love. That girl at the bar might come back into Johnny's life. Carmen, who knows what's going to happen. So, yeah, there's going to be 3 lovers on every side. It's going to be amazing.
We're going to have triangular prisms and shit. Like, it's going to be 3D, all kinds of shenanigans going on.
Allie with an eye, Amanda, you got Kimoko, you got Carmen. I mean, who knows? Like I said, that chick at the bar might come back into it. You know, then Danny and Johnny. Like, oh yeah, dude, it's gonna be nuts, dude. Isosceles is coming. The love angles. It's gonna be a love orgy.
I am team Johnny and Carmen all the way. Like that's me, my one, because then you're like stepdad. Cool, like. You know, now you bring your kids together.
And now you have more of a reason to be showing so much love to Miguel and not necessarily dissing Robbie, but kind of trying to make it more on an equal path or whatever. But again, I still think he failed Robbie in that one. He should have been there. Oh, on the way out the door, our girl herself, Lord Commander, AK just hit the chat. What's up, Alicia Kingston? Did you ever catch up with this one? Run away because spoilers haven't caught up yet. Hugs to my brother. Oh, good to see you, AK. Absolutely. No spoilers now. We're actually done with this one, but good to see you always. And yeah, make sure you catch up on this one because Cobra Kai is about it. It's so much fun. I love the show. So yeah, just real quick for anybody out there watching, we got one little quick trivia question for out there. We'll see if I know Andy doesn't know it, but we'll see if anybody out there watching this on the repeat, if you know the answer to this question, type it down below. See what's what.
Someone's name
of the night. What is Mr. Miyagi's first name? They broke it down in this episode. What is Mr. Miyagi's first name? Boom. If you know that answer, write it down below. See what's up. We'll see who really knows and who's into the Cobra Kai. But other than that, this was what's that?
I definitely don't know it because about 10 minutes ago when I brought up Mr. Miyagi's name for the first time, I had to think about Mr. Miyagi, like that name. I was like, what's that old guy's name? Yeah.
Oh,
so, me.
So there it is, a little homework for you guys. Let me know down below if you know what is Mr. Miyagi's first name. But other than that, yeah, I thought this, like I said, I thought this was kind of a filler episode, but definitely has me intrigued, and I can't wait to watch the next one and see what's happening in episode 5 and see who the winner is. Will Allie with an eye show up in episode 5, or will 1-1 call it and she's not going to be in until the second half of the season?
Oh, come on.
So that's going to do it for us. We tried to get on Saturday, but yeah, my had way too much stuff going on and I wasn't going to be able to do it. But who knows, we might try to get on again this Saturday to try to knock out another episode. If not, we will definitely be back next Tuesday night. One way or another, we'll be back next Tuesday night. It'll either be with episode 5 or episode 6, depending on what's happening Saturday. So I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here. Oh my good, did you just hit it, AK? Google is a thing. He can't Google it. You got to know it. That's awesome. Like I said, hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here. And until we see you next time, you guys be easy.